跟手到了，木牌已经到后面去了，叫过跟。
The average speed of the fleet was 4.8 knots, just under 9 kilometers an hour. Its first destination was Southeast Asia. The Chinese wanted to secure the Straits of Malacca. They were the doorway to the Indian Ocean, the doorway to the west. Then, as now, pirates lurked in this strategic waterway. They plundered merchant ships and controlled the passage to the Indian Ocean. Their local knowledge made it difficult for the Chinese to catch them. Was the fleet's artillery chosen specifically to deal with the pirates? For sea combat, the Chinese used fire weapons and explosive missiles, which had a greater range than heavy munitions. They aimed to set fire to the enemy's sails. The warships included smaller patrol boats and 5-masted junks. They too were used in the fight against the pirates. Seeing the superiority of the Chinese firepower, the pirate leader Cheng declared himself ready to surrender. He was setting a trap, but Zhang He, forewarned, turned the tables and set his own trap. It's said that in the resulting battle, 5,000 pirates were killed, 10 pirate ships went up in flames, and another 7 were captured. But the pirate leader wasn't caught until some weeks later. A document records his fate. In the 4th year of the emperor, Cheng Sui was brought to Nanking. The order was given to behead him in public. Whoever controlled the narrow straits controlled the passage into the Indian Ocean. Once he had overcome the pirates, Zhang He was able to establish a base in the Straits of Malacca. It would secure his position at this strategic point and guarantee his supplies in future voyages. He soon established friendly relations with the king of Malacca. Some pointers to Zhang He's presence can still be found. His camp is said to have been at a place called Sun Bao.
这座山叫做三宝山，是我们中国以外最大的一座坟山。这座山上有12500座的坟墓。据说呢，这座三宝山是明朝郑和下西洋曾经驻扎在的这个山路的一个山。
In the following centuries, the southern part of the Malay archipelago came increasingly under Chinese influence. From Malacca, the fleet sailed west into unknown waters. For the first time on their voyage, the sailors didn't see land for weeks. How were the ships supplied on the high seas? They had fresh provisions when they sailed, but with no way of preserving food, it wasn't possible to keep up a balanced diet for long. Vegetables only last for a limited time, and there wasn't room for a large supply of fresh water. The Chinese found a solution: supply ships. The fleet had its own water tankers. They provided enough fresh water for a month. Special cattle transporters supplied the fleet with fresh meat. The fleet was self-sufficient. Farm ships were the most remarkable invention. They used raised beds to grow soy, which produces a high yield in a small space. What is special about soy? Scientists at the China Agricultural University are investigating the properties of soy. In the Middle Ages, one of the main causes of death among sailors was vitamin C deficiency, which caused scurvy. The scientists are carrying out tests to see if soy contains enough vitamin C to prevent scurvy. They are focusing on seedlings because Zheng He's fleet only harvested soybean shoots. The results surprised even the scientists.
一般来说，粮食啊，干粮，比如说这个小麦或者是黄豆，它是不含维生素 C 的。但是呢，一旦它发芽的时候，那么维 C 就大量的扩散。像黄豆芽，它的维 C 的含量呢，100克到10几到30毫克之间。它相当于白菜的量，白菜也就20多个毫克。
When Vasco da Gama made his first voyage in 97, 100 of his 160 men died of vitamin C deficiency. In Europe, the disease wasn't beaten until the end of the 18th century, after James Cook took citrus fruit and sauerkraut on his expeditions to the Pacific. The Chinese, on the other hand, solved the problem of scurvy in the early 15th century. But viral diseases were unavoidable. Poor sanitary conditions were a fact of life at sea. The quarters were crowded, epidemics were a constant threat. The fleet did have over 180 doctors, but they were unable to prevent all infection. Zheng He issued the order, sick crew members must not die on board. The dying must be wrapped in rugs and thrown into the sea. The rules weren't always enforced to the letter. It seemed an infectious disease might not prove fatal, and the fleet was near a coast. The afflicted sailors were put ashore, given food, and left to their fate. Legend has it that one of them found his way back to China, safe and sound 2 years after being put ashore. Each of Zheng He's 7 editions lasted 2 years, and each time the destination was the Indian Ocean. In the Arabian Sea, the fleet called at the ports of Hormuz, Aden, and Mombasa. The expeditions marked China's entry upon the world stage as a maritime power. What exactly was the mission of the fleet? One of its most important tasks was to establish contact and forge political connections. In this way, the treasure ships served as diplomatic outposts of the Dragon Throne. The admiral's luxurious suite hosted receptions in honor of foreign rulers and their envoys. These occasions combined diplomacy with discussion of trade and commerce. The fleet anchored for weeks on end off the south of India, for the city of Calicut was a bridge between Asia and Europe. It was the region's most important trading centre and a meeting place for merchants from all over the world. It was in Calicut that the Chinese sold the goods they had brought with them, luxury products for the world market. No sunken treasure ships have ever been found, but the sea does hold clues as to what the Chinese were expecting. Off the coast of Vietnam, maritime archaeologists found the wreck of a Chinese merchant ship. Its cargo was a consignment of porcelain. The fleet was supposed to stimulate trade in items like this. Fragile wares were hard to transport by land, and the most important, the Silk Road, was blocked by the Mongols. Going by sea was the only alternative. Porcelain, China's white gold.